Well, good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Monday, November 2nd. You know what that means, right? And this is Queer News Tonight, the world's first live LGBTQ daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. Tonight, we are at the 11th hour of the election of a lifetime. We don't know what is going to happen, except Trump is going to fire Anthony Fauci. Seriously.
Lord. In the big finish, some white guy named Trump talks size matters with some black guy named Obama. What's going on here? And only an LGBTQ news show can answer the question correctly.
Today, the world-famous Orlando Parliament House and owner Don Granenstein talks about the 45-year history of America's most famous LGBTQ hotel, bar, and entertainment complex.
Well, good evening again, America. It is 7 p.m. Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and it is time to queer up the news. We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show, Out of the Closet and Into the Headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. We are live and unedited. This is a live LGBTQ evening news show. So anything can happen. You get to see all of it. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective from the LGBTQ community. We welcome guest anchor Faye What? She's out, she's proud, and she's certainly loud.
That's me.
She's a Latina to be reckoned with. Half Puerto Rican, half Colombian, and 100% freaking New Jersey. Are you listening, Michelle Visage? She has the popular blog and YouTube channel, Say What? Welcome, Faye.
Hello, everyone.
And next up is Athena Dion as our guest host tonight. And she is one of South Florida's brightest and most beloved drag performance entertainers. She is the CEO, isn't that official sounding, of the premier drag entertainment company in South Florida called Dream Queens. She is Miami's very own Greek goddess and has dual hosting roles at the famous Our House Wynwood here in South Florida, and Summer's headlining at the Jackie O Resort in Mykonos, Greece. Good evening, Athena.
Good evening, everyone.
Well, tonight we begin with queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in America is diverse, while the LGBTQ community around the world is vast, and we're going to bring you the bullet points of queer news for today, Monday, November 2nd, 2020. We begin by queering up Vote 2020. A Miami crowd chants, "Fire Fauci," in the gayest place on planet Earth. Trump says, after the election. Watch this.
Would like to talk about COVID, and then next time. Here's what happens November 4th. You won't hear too much about it. You won't hear too much about it. Don't tell anybody, but let me wait till a little bit after the election.
I guarantee you, November 4th and on, you're going to hear a lot about this. President Donald Trump came to the gayest place on planet Earth and suggested last night to a Miami crowd right at midnight he may fire Dr. Anthony Fauci after the election, escalating his feud with the nation's leading expert on infectious diseases and providing a window into the potential post-November 3rd administration purge. Speaking after midnight, following a full day of campaigning, the president was complaining about the news media coverage of COVID-19 when the crowd broke out into a "Fire Fauci" chant. "Don't tell anybody," he whispers, loudly in Trump speak, "but let me wait until a little bit after the election," was his quote. Trump said that to cheers and then added, "I appreciate the advice." Later, Trump claimed Fauci is a nice guy, but he's been wrong a lot. Trump has previously claimed Fauci opposed mask wearing early in the pandemic, though at the time, the administration was concerned about the supply levels of medical grade equipment. Most of the crowd in Florida was not wearing masks. Trump has proceeded with rallies in states with rampant coronavirus outbreaks, believing his message of reopening will resonate with voters.
My Lord, why? Well, leave Fauci alone. Why you gotta mess with Dr. Fauci? Like he's, come on. And if you're gonna fire him then. It's not like he's not gonna be able to find another job somewhere. Come on.
Yeah, totally. This kind of news really makes me sad at this point. I don't get mad anymore. I'm starting to get sad. And he said that Dr. Fauci's been wrong a few times. I think I know another guy that's been wrong a few times too, President Trump.
Yeah, bullseye. Period. All stop. Full stop. That's it.
That's it. It's time to queer up entertainment. RuPaul admits she feels bad sometimes for her Drag Race judges. The drag icon and Visage first met in 1988 and have remained close friends ever since. Speaking to Little Mix star Jade Thirlwall in an interview with Cosmopolitan, RuPaul said Visage is a good egg and super smart. Over the years, she popped up in different situations, and I thought, my goodness, this is someone who I really need to get to know. I like her a lot. She makes me laugh, RuPaul continued. I feel bad sometimes on the Drag Race panel because we cut up like girlfriends and I don't want the others to feel left out, but we have a natural chemistry together. RuPaul says she loves Drag Race because it allows men to behave in ways that society would not let them. I feel so bad for men in our culture because the rule book says that men after 13 are not supposed to show emotion. We live in a culture where men are really suffering.
I love this. I love Michelle Visage and RuPaul's relationship on the show. You can tell it's just so genuine, and you can tell that their friendship goes back so long, that they have so many inside jokes that we're, sometimes allowed to like laugh in on as well. And I really love their chemistry on the show. It adds a lot to it.
It's so strange for me because I'm having deja vu of like I'm still in some way involved in RuPaul's Drag Race. I have a drag queen to one side of me, and I have Michelle Visage, Jersey girl, loud Jersey girl to the other side of me. I feel like I'm at RuPaul.
Possible drag queen as well.
Exactly. And I know Michelle very well. She is a spectacular person. I absolutely know what RuPaul is talking about here.
And she's, and that chemistry, sometimes you can't fake that chemistry. When you meet someone and you just feel like you've known them forever. Like when I met Athena, we just started like shooting the stuff right there. And I was like, oh my God, have we known each other forever?
We're the RuPaul and Michelle of South Florida, girl.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, you too. You could Carson.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
You know what? Let's queer up gay culture. All right, guys, Orlando's Parliament House closes as LGBTQ community mourns gay culture loss. Say it ain't so. In what seems very much the end of an era, venerable Orlando Gay Club and Resort Parliament House closed the doors of its Orange Blossom Trail location permanently today, Monday, November 2nd, after over 45 years of revelry and liberation. Queer News Tonight broke this story in early September. On Wednesday evening, a post on the official Parliament House Facebook page made official the news that had been swirling around on social media for the better part of the day. In that same post, after confirming the closure, Parliament House management said that they are very excited about their future despite the closure, planning to reopen in a new location sooner rather than later. The last big events for Parliament House in their current digs was the big Halloween weekend party and outdoors costume contest on October 30th and 31st, and the last dance mentioned above that happened Sunday, November 1st. Parliament House has hosted almost every major LGBTQ entertainer and entertainer ally. It has routinely been considered the #1 gay bar in the world by New Now Next. There are now comments that Parliament House will pursue a new operation in another location. Happening Out Television Network highly doubts there are any future plans for the Parliament House, as we have repeatedly reported gayborhoods and LGBTQ entertainment businesses are severely shrinking in a COVID-19 environment. 2020 is tough. Tough going. P House owner Don Granenstein will be with Queer News Tonight anchor Al Ferguson tomorrow for a retrospective of the history of Parliament House.
Well, it is very sad. I have such incredible memories of Parliament House gay days. When I went the morning of Pulse, Eddie Sotomayor, most famous name, killed at the Pulse attacks. The the first place that I went with my friends, Richard Millian and Mike Brooks, was to the Parliament House. And so many people were there because we wanted collective family. I was standing in the main club. It was completely empty. And Don and Susan Granestein came to the door and saw me and busted out crying. And I busted out crying. And we stood there and hugged each other for the longest time of what we had lost at Pulse. And before noon on that day, the famous Pulse, or the famous Parliament House sign had their Pulse Strong message on the Parliament House. It is an LGBTQ institution and a gigantic loss today.
I have to agree with you, Al. I can't believe that they're closing down. And on their Facebook page, it said, thank you, see you soon. That's what it said on their Facebook page, and they also are airing their last dance. So if you guys want to check that out, it's there. But I've got so many amazing memories there, and a lot of nights that I don't remember also. But
Just, I mean, exactly as it should be.
Right, as it should be. But I mean, can't they save this place? Like, can't it be like some kind of like, you know, historical monument or something?
The answer is no.
Unfortunately, but like both of you, I have so many memories there as well. I remember all the Gay Days celebrations before I even, you know, was illegal to be participating in these things. Just going there, and then I actually got to perform on the stage. So I definitely got.
Oh, you got to perform.
I got to perform there.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
I was invited to perform a few times, and I'm glad looking back now that I did get that opportunity, because it's almost like a rite of passage for entertainers in a way, especially if you're a Florida girl and you're in the entertainment business. To perform at the Parliament House is really a big deal. So I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity. Darcel Stevens invited me, and you know, big shout out to her for keeping that show going for so long, and the amazing queens that have all graced that stage. It's definitely going to be very, very, very missed. But hey, hopefully they'll find a new place. You know, we're in a tough time. 2020 is rough, but fingers crossed, things looking up, you know.
Or one last thought, over the weekend I was at Sawmill, and Darcel came up and emceed the pool game Saturday afternoon. Darcel Stevens is a drag queen institution in the United States. She is well known because she is not well known. She is a local queen at the Parliament House, but she has hosted royalty from around the world. It's quite an amazing situation. Let's move on to Queering Up the Vote 2020. Dean Trantalis is endorsed as mayor of the gayest place on planet Earth by Q News Tonight. Watch this.
Hey guys, what's all this about?
Hey Dean, good seeing you. We're
how
here
are you?
at City
Nice to see
Hall on Wilton Drive.
Yes.
We're getting ready to do It's Happening Out, and we're really excited because 450,000 people are watching the show.
Well, of course it is, because Fort Lauderdale is the gayest place on planet Earth.
Actually, Wilton Manors is the gayest place on planet Earth.
No, Fort Lauderdale is the gayest place on planet Earth. Sorry.
It was such a great bit. It's Happening Out television network, along with Queer News Tonight and Good Morning Gay South Florida, remind you to vote in the election of a lifetime. That includes Florida's most influential LGBTQ politician, Mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trantalis. He has been a great supporter to our efforts to inform the South Florida LGBTQ community. We endorse him for a second term and encourage you to vote for him. Here's why. First, Dean Trantalis has a long track record of promoting LGBTQ issues. As far back as 1995, he co-wrote and oversaw the successful enactment of the Broward County Human Rights Ordinance. In 1999, he also co-wrote and oversaw the successful passage of the Broward County Domestic Partnership Law. Second, he co-sponsored the ordinance to set the city's own employment non-discrimination policy, which, for the first time in the city's history, added protections to include persons based on their sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, as well as to make it illegal for the practice of conversion therapy. Third, under his administration, Fort Lauderdale achieved, for the first time ever, a 100% rating from the Human Rights Campaign in the Municipal Equality Index. Fourth, he sponsored and won approval for a resolution supporting marriage equality in the run-up of the Windsor decision of the Supreme Court. And finally, fifth, He has worked with Pride Fort Lauderdale to create the move to the Beachfront Pride Festival and plan for the upcoming Pride of the Americas. As trustee of the Graves Foundation, he provided funding for a permanent home for the Stonewall Library and Archives and to launch the World AIDS Museum. Dean Trantalis is one of us. He walks the walk and talks the talk and has a lifetime of equality support for Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, and Florida as a battleground state. Dean Trantalis is far more experienced, more capable, and more qualified than the other candidate to be mayor. And we urge Fort Lauderdale voters to enthusiastically re-elect him to a second term.
Now, let's queer up entertainment. Make way! The best Halloween costumes from LGBTQ celebrities are here.
Did everybody have a great time over Halloween?
Oh, we had a blast.
Me and Faith spent Halloween night together, actually.
Oh, we're going to start the gossip right here, right now.
Spill the tea.
No,
What were the great costumes that y'all saw?
what did we see? We saw a lot of Tiger King. We saw a lot of Carol
There
Baskin.
were a lot of Carol Baskins,
Carol
actually.
Baskin.
You know, it was great because
Moira Rose.
yes, a lot of Schitt's Creek stuff out there. That was a lot of fun, right? A Broken Heart. I love that one. That was a really, you can just tell this guy just got stomped on, but it was awesome. It was cool.
Yeah, I went to Sawmill, and so I wasn't here in South Florida, but at Sawmill, amazing costumes. They had this one, by the way, this celebrity costume. At Sawmill, many amazing costumes, a little different than South Florida because there was a lot of nudity in the costumes, which you can get away with behind gate at Sawmill. I have many pictures, actually.
We're going to have to look at that later.
Pictures. Yeah,
It was great because Athena was dressed as Endora. Do you guys know who Endora is from I Dream of Jeannie? Of course, right? So when we're on stage, I said, yes, she's dressed as my mother-in-law.
You mean
Spanish.
You mean Bewitched?
Bewitched. Oh my God, why did I say a Dream of Genie? Take away my gay
I
card
was
now! Take away my gay card now!
And Dora was, I believe, a lesbian too. Whoop. You're going to be voted out of the club.
You see that?
All right, and we're going to do another Halloween story to close up Halloween, Gay Christmas. Athena, why don't you do that?
Yep, let's go ahead and queer up the USA. Adult pumpkin carvings we can't get enough of. Just because social distancing guidelines are in place doesn't mean that we can't enjoy the fruits of Halloween. Not only are members of our community still dressing up in outlandish costumes, but they are also carving pumpkins. Sniffies.com, the map-based meetup app for gay, bi, and curious guys, decided to get in on the fun this year, hosting a virtual pumpkin carving contest, and let's just say these talented carvers went straight to Santa's naughty list. Here are just a few of our favorite hot and spooky pumpkin creations. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, first off, congratulations. My goodness, what I just saw, sniffies.com.
See that?
Very interesting. You've got to love the creativity here. I've not seen pumpkins like this before. A peach and an eggplant. That is hilarious. And the glory hole. I love LGBTQ creativity. Yes.
I love it. It's fantastic. I love pumpkin carving because I love to get in there and stick my hand in and then just grab all the stuff and take it out.
Ew.
It's awesome. But my pumpkin never looks that good. You know, I mean, it just looks like weird. It looks
Wait,
like
I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
My pumpkin. My pumpkin looked like it had a lazy eye and it needed some dental work. But I mean, that's okay.
We're still talking about a pumpkin.
We're going to dive into Faye's pumpkin patch.
It's a great pumpkin, Al Ferguson.
Oh my God. I carved my first pumpkin this Halloween too, and it was a very disgusting, slimy experience, but oddly satisfying at the same time, to be honest with you. Very much like the first time of other things as well.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, those are our headlines today, and we thought we would finish with some fun closure of Halloween 2020. And let's hope that Halloween 2021 will come back to some normalcy. Next, let's catch up on all the news surrounding COVID-19 with our segment called Quarantine Quickies. There's a lot to discuss during this pandemic, so let's get it underway.
Quarantine Quickies. Study links Trump rallies to more than 700 COVID deaths. President Donald Trump's campaign rallies between June and September may have caused some 30,000 coronavirus infections and more than 700 deaths, according to a new study by Stanford University economists. The working paper released late Friday examined the impact of 18 rallies held between June 20th and September 30th by comparing spread of the virus after each event to parts of the country that didn't host rallies. The findings illustrate the risks of not heeding public health warnings to wear masks and avoid large gatherings to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. 15 of the 18 events studied were held outdoors. Trump has drawn criticism for continuing to hold events with large, tightly packed crowds in states that are experiencing outbreaks. Many in attendance, including Trump, have not worn masks. The study notes that the number of infections, hospitalizations, and deaths will increase dramatically with the president campaign rallies increasing as election day approached. This is the first time in American history that a presidential campaign rally was linked to deaths. I don't think, fire Fauci, right? Because he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I mean, come on. Like, he's so disconnected, guys. Like, our Trump, our president, not my president, is so disconnected when it comes to these things. Like, he just is like, whatever.
Yeah, this is the first time in American history that a presidential campaign rally is linked to death. That says a lot.
It says it all, doesn't it?
Says a lot. I mean, what more do you need to know?
Yeah. I'm, of course, as everyone knows, tomorrow's election day. The number one issue is COVID. All of the polls are indicating it was COVID and the economy. He likely would have won the election if COVID didn't come about. And he is likely going to lose the election because of COVID-19.
By a landslide.
By a landslide, yep.
So welcome to week 9 of Queer Money Talks, where every Monday we will take viewer questions about finance and the economy and ask our professional to weigh in so that you can be more confident with your money.
We are very proud to have Queer News Tonight's contributor, David Treese, joining us now. With 30 years of experience, David works as a fee-based investment advisor representative with Cetera Advisors and is an accredited investment fiduciary. He understands financial markets and is a professional financial planner. David has been featured in the Miami Herald, Sun Sentinel, PBS's Nightly Business Report, The Washington Post, and of course on NBC6 in an Emmy Award-winning series about his work, and is a member of the LGBTQ community, of course. And we're going to make David prove that later.
Yeah, I feel like the straight guy here.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, we'll change all of that. David, welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to ask some questions that viewers have asked, and Athena, why don't you jump right in?
Sure. A viewer asks, please explain the difference in Roth versus traditional IRA.
It's a common question. The real difference, there are a lot of differences, but the most important thing is taxes. And the idea behind my advice is I want you to do well and to make money and to finish ahead. So I like the idea of the Roth IRAs, where every dollar you put in grows completely tax deferred and then can be taken out tax free, as opposed to the traditional IRAs, which just grows and grows and grows, hopefully, over a long period of time, but then you pay tax on everything when you do the withdrawals. So I say, do you want to pay tax now on the seed, which is like the Roth version, or do you want to pay tax on the whole crop later, which is the traditional version? There's some other advantages too of the Roth, that for younger people, if you need to take a withdrawal before age 59 and a half, you don't get a 10% penalty. And also there are no required minimum distributions when you turn 72, like on the traditional one.
David, let's make sure that we're clear in case an LGBTQ listener's not clear. IRA is an individual retirement account. Given what you just said, why would anyone ever get an IRA, traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA?
The difference is the tax deductibility at the beginning. So it could be, for example, if an accountant tells me a client really needs the deductions,
oh, I see,
then we'll go with that. But generally, if there's a Roth option, I prefer that. And so one big tip is, even though we're talking about IRAs, you may have a Roth option in your 401k. And that's not as common, it's becoming more common, but that means even in your own 401k, if you choose that option, all of that money will grow tax deferred and can be tax free. Now a company match has to go to the traditional side, but you can accumulate a lot of money in a Roth, either IRA or 401k, and then you basically say when you retire, Uncle Sam, you're great, but I'm divorcing you from my retirement plan, it's all mine, you don't get any.
Yeah, okay.
All right, learning a lot today. Okay, we've got another question from another viewer. Viewer asks, what is the value of traditional versus living will?
That's interesting. The word will there is confusing. I don't like that term living will because it's really not a will at all. A living will is the pull the plug document. So if you are in a persistent vegetative
Is that a financial term, a fiduciary term, the pull the plug
yes,
document?
That's not exactly very scientific, but it's more memorable.
Right.
And so
I can't tell you, David, how many times when I look at both of my co-anchors with me tonight, I've thought about the pull the plug document.
You want to pull your own plug or one of
Sure,
our?
you want me to pull it for you? I'll pull it.
You hold him, I'll pull.
I have a lot of stories about it. I actually had to deal with this with my brother. My straight brother died of AIDS, and he was schizophrenic, and so he said things. But I asked him about what his wishes were, and he said he always had this life force that he always wanted to live. And he said, don't bury me, don't cremate me, freeze me, like Walt Disney, freeze me and bring me back when the sciences, of course that's a myth that Walt Disney was cremated. But it helped me when I had to make some of those decisions. It's like I knew he wanted to live, and if there was a chance, so that's what a living will is. And you can put in there almost anything about what your wishes are, that you want pain control. I had a religious client who said, yes, pull the plug, but only after 3 days. It was kind of like maybe Jesus, like resurrection, and she put all sorts of things in there, like, I want to make sure that I look nice, that my hair is dyed, that even if I'm in a coma, that
So David, let me make sure that I'm clear. So a traditional will is the allocation of your assets, etc. The living will adds the definition of instructions that you want for your will.
It's not for the will, it's instructions for your health. So I think of it as a healthcare document. Okay. So the traditional will is like if you've got your 10,000 piece Judy Garland collection, you want to leave it to the Smithsonian, then that's where you put that in the traditional
I'm
will.
taking it with me.
Yeah, you can't take it with you.
I'm going to find a way. And Athena, we have another question.
Yeah, we do. A viewer asks, in financial planning for LGBTQ, is marriage a benefit or not?
What a romantic question. I remember getting that when we got marriage equality, and I fought for marriage equality for us, for our community, and there are over 1,000 federal rights associated with marriage. So I'm very pro-marriage in that regard. You do kind of have to know what you're getting into, what the differences are, pluses and minuses. I just celebrated my 35th wedding anniversary with my husband last week.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Whenever I say that, he jumps right in and he says, but we got married in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're not that old. But
you definitely just proved that you are a member of the LGBT community and denying age.
Very gay.
You gay as hell.
Very gay.
I have straight drag, but I'm really very gay.
Yeah, right.
So this is my uniform.
Right.
So there are a lot of benefits. For example, the ability to inherit an IRA as a spousal IRA. If you're not legally married, then you've got to liquidate that over 10 years. The ability to inherit Social Security benefits. So if your husband or wife has a larger check and he passes away, he or she, then you can inherit that. There are all sorts of different rights there. The drawbacks have to do with things like, of course, a divorce, where you may have to separate assets. Also about benefits, for example, if you are trying to qualify for certain benefits, whether it's student aid, anything that's based on your assets together, then that could count against you, even public assistance. But it's weird how many benefits there are, like even discounts on auto insurance. You may have seen that you're asked, are you married? It's like the auto companies think you're going to be more responsible if you're married.
Nope.
I see.
You're
committed to somebody, and so as a result, you're safer. David, I'm curious because I've heard this so many times. To this point, we've only had marriage benefit legally for 5 years.
That's right.
So the LGBTQ community didn't really consider marriage the way all of our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents did. On balance, in the 5 years that you have done this, and understanding you have been married and partnered for the better part of nearly a century.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al.
At the conclusion of your financial planning over the last 5 years, you've had a unique opportunity to look at marriage and the benefits financially. The bottom line in terms of all of these protections that you get, is marriage more beneficial for you financially or less beneficial for you financially for the LGBTQ community? Because we've only had 5 years of review and evaluation of it.
I definitely think it's more beneficial. You would have to almost be in a certain situation like you would lose benefits by getting married. And even if you're concerned, like let's say that there's a big difference in assets, you could do something like a prenuptial. So there are ways around it, but I think overall it's much more beneficial to take advantage of those rights, because otherwise that person that you're with could be basically a legal stranger, and that causes problems, and it can cause problems with maybe family members who are not so supportive. But if you are married, you've got a
So
real
your
legal...
recommendation in your financial planning is to make sure that it's very clear that you discuss with your fiduciary planner whether you're married and the goals of what you want to do of being single or married.
We have to know that. For example, when you name a beneficiary, if you're married and you want to leave money to siblings or a niece or a nephew, your spouse has to sign off on that. It makes a big difference as to how we plan things. So yes, we need to know that and what your goals are. And I've had this with straight couples, with gay couples, like, should we get married? What are the drawbacks? And usually people are afraid of divorce, that's the big one.
You know, it's interesting to me as we move on out of our Q&A. The joke that I heard leading up to the Windsor decision and after is we get the same, the straight joke was, fine, now you get everything that we have and you're going to hate it. And
the same right to be miserable.
Yes, the same right to be miserable. But you point out from a financial standpoint, it's still on balance beneficial for us. Interesting.
Yep.
Well, that's it for part 9 of Queer Money Talks for the LGBTQ community. Every Monday night we're going to do this, bringing you viewer questions about finance and the economy, and asking our professional to weigh in so you can be more confident with what you do with your money. As always, thank you, David Trees, for being with us tonight, and we'll continue to be doing it. Thanks, David.
All right, thank you.
Habanero Television Network is broadcasting on our permanent set in partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We joke we are broadcasting from the gayest place on planet Earth, and our support of their Sunday celebration is the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's completely live. We encourage you to tune in. Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch.
This is Damian Pardo, and I'm the chair of Forward Miami, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
We'd also like to thank Concepto Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible. Well, now we're going to end tonight's broadcast with the Big Finish. These are short story mentions of LGBTQ news or news with a gay perspective. So here we go. First on queer news tonight's The Big Finish. Gay men tonight are remembering Bond, James Bond. Faith, any thoughts about Sean?
God, what a handsome man he was back in the day, right? Oh my God. I mean, I loved all the James Bond movies, you know. The thing is, him as a man, I still remember an old interview that he did, I think with Playboy or something, that he had said that he didn't think that it was really wrong to hit a woman, but just don't hit a woman like you hit a man. That kind of left me with a bad taste in my mouth for Sean Connery. So
yes.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah.
He was one of those man's men. You know, somebody that the real man really looked up to aspire to be. I just thought he was really good looking back when he was younger, but I've only really knew him as an older man from his older movies. So
yeah. He was interesting to me because he does something that our society doesn't necessarily accept, which is men aging well. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was handsome. You know, he was 90 years old in this passing. So when you're saying, well, I don't really remember him, you know, he started in the 60s as James Bond. And by 82 or 83, he was finished with the series. And he went on to so many other amazing things. So we are definitely thinking about James Bond. And how can you not envy, whether you're straight or you're LGBT or you're a gay man, all of the leading women that he encountered as Bond, including Pussy Galore.
Ah, yes, Pussy Galore. But you know what? In the back of my mind, I really would like to see a sex scene between young Sean Connery and young Rock Hudson. Okay, there's my 2 cents. Just saying.
Where did that come from?
We're taking her lesbian card.
We're definitely taking your lesbian card away. All right, in the big finish. Well, Florida, we always tell you this is the freak show state. A Florida man was mauled by a leopard after paying $150 for a full contact experience.
Oh my God.
I wish somebody gave me $150 for a full contact experience.
What would they get, Miss Athena?
They get mauled too.
I've read on Grindr that there's almost, well.
It's less than $150.
Yeah.
Listen, the guy's an idiot, okay? The guy's an idiot, and the keeper is also an idiot for allowing this to happen.
It's Carol Baskin.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
it's just
right.
somebody taking the place of Carol Baskin. The guy's already had 3 surgeries. I can't believe he survived, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Florida is the freak show state.
Yeah.
We have 5 of these kind of stories every week, America, every single week. In the big finish, the white guy, Trump, seems to be obsessed with black guy Obama's size. What did you think we were talking about? Watch this.
When you leave a crowd like that, and I've had only crowds like that, we've had no small crowd, whether it's in Pennsylvania or any place else. Every single place has been like this, and I think there's not a person out of all of those thousands and thousands of people that won't be voting and won't be voting for me.
What is his obsession, by the way, with crowd size? You notice that? He's always worried. This is the one measure he has of success. He's still worrying about his inauguration crowd being smaller than mine. It really bugs him. He's still talking about that.
I'll be the first to say it. I'll be the first to say it.
What?
Obama is making a joke about men's preoccupation with size. And nobody does it more huge than Donald Trump. Nobody does it more than Donald Trump. What is it about him, of his obsession with size? With the women that have been involved in his, oh, now I know why.
That's why.
Okay.
It's the delusion. It's the delusion. And yes, Barack Obama, his is bigger.
I'm here for Obama talking about penises. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Don't you think he was laughing when he was doing it? That's what he was thinking. When you watched him giggle to himself, he was making his own joke in his head.
He had a little catty moment and he went with it, and I'm here for it.
That's right. Every gay man that, yay! Wow.
We need more of that Obama.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. Well, that is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Remember, if it's important to you or to the LGBTQ community, it's important to Queer News Tonight. But you must help us. Click subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell for updates, and share this news.
We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines, and this is the only source of live LGBTQ news in the world. Your community needs your support.
You are not alone. We will get through this crisis.
We are here with you, and this is Queer News Tonight.
So thank you for joining us, America, and I'm Al Ferguson, and on behalf of my cohorts here, Faye What and Athena Dion, we will see you daily and tomorrow, Election Day at 7 p.m. Ooh, good night, America.
Good night.